So we were talking about the word perfect and how it's complete and there's no division. So if we go back to the Garden of Eden, what can you think of that has division in there? And we started this whole series by talking also about the way of the ungodly will perish, but the way of the godly man, he's like a tree planted by rivers of water. So in the Garden of Eden, and the Garden of Eden is so super important, because in the Garden of Eden we see what God meant for creation, and we see how the serpent came in and destroyed everything. Okay? And so we see a tree that is divided. Okay? That tree is one tree, but it has good and it has evil. It's a mixture. And it's different from the tree of life, which is complete, only one thing. It's perfect in the sense of biblical sense of being perfect. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is a duality. And that is a huge problem. And that is the iniquity that was found in Lucifer. And we will unravel that a little bit more, but I want to stay with that concept of one and two. Even the Greek philosophers, and you can look into this, they believed the one was the monad, okay, monad meaning one, and that the one was good, and it referred to the creator gods. They called them gods. But there's only one creator God, okay, and that's Jesus Christ. Now the two, they thought it referred to devilish entities. And it's true. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is Satan's tree. It's the serpent's tree who deceives the whole world. So we talk a lot about conspiracy theories and all sorts of things like that these days. Well, think of the greatest conspiracy theory goes back to the Garden of Eden, through which Satan has deceived the whole world. And that includes every religion you can think of, including Christians, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism. You can think of any religion. It's tainted with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's tainted with that duality. So the duality, by the Greeks, they called it the dyad. Do your own research. Like everything I'm saying, you have to do your own research. Don't take me for my word. I'm pointing you to things where you can go and research yourself, okay? So research the monad, research the dyad, or the duad, whatever. It's the same thing. Freemasons, they talk about it. Okay? Research Albert Pike and you will find it. The Magic Flute by Mozart, it was about the duality. Okay? And I'll show you that someday too. So when in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, we read the Shema, which was the most important verse for the Jews, right? It was so important that they took it literally, and they made phylacteries where they put the verse inside a little box and put it on their foreheads, and in their wrists and on their doorposts. But what God had meant to do is that make this like so much a part of yourself that it's in your mind, it's in your actions, in your hands. Don't take it literally. You don't need phylacteries. But do take it seriously, because it's so important. That's why it became so important to the Jews. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. This is not talking about the Trinity. This is talking about God's character. He is perfect. A perfect monad that is only pure and white. Think of it that way. There's no division of good and evil in him. He is not good to some and evil to others. He does not use evil at all, because like in the Bible clearly talks about darkness being death and evil and all sorts of negative things like that. But when John wrote in the first epistle of John, in 1 John 1:5, and he said, this is the message, and it's the same message of Deuteronomy 6:4. It says in 1 John 1:5, God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. This is the same thing as Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. He is only light. He is one. No duality. Okay? So, if we can understand that concept, our whole understanding of the Bible is going to change. Our whole understanding about God is going to change. Our whole understanding about God's will for our lives is going to change. And if we do adopt that way, which is the way of life, beware that there will be persecution here on earth, because the devil will not leave you. He'll try to derail you in every way he can, because his agenda is to promote his tree of the knowledge of good and evil. His agenda is to promote the duality. And if you look into all the systems of the world, from the justice system to the medical system, they first of all use all the symbols of satanic symbols, like the serpent, okay? And the American Medical Association symbol is the wings of Lucifer. You have the wings and the serpent, two serpents, the good and the evil. So if you look at all those systems, they are always divided. They always have the duality of good and evil. They do some good, but they also cause evil. Every medication you take may alleviate your symptoms, but they're going to harm your kidneys or whatever. They always do good, but also evil. And we need to wake up to this reality, because this system, remember, this system is going to perish. There's nothing going to be left of it. So if you are a part of the system, a time is coming when you're going to be given the chance to get out of it, and God will take you into his kingdom and take care of you there. So don't be worried about not having enough food and all this stuff. When you were talking about switching jurisdictions here, if you switch to God's jurisdiction, you're taken care of. Remember, in the garden, God took care of all of Adam and Eve's needs, all of them. He provided food. They didn't even have to work. And I mean, they didn't have to work like we have to work now. They had to, take care of the garden, but it was already all provided for them. And so switching jurisdictions, especially when the jurisdiction that we are in is a sinking ship, is not a bad idea, right?